Let's talk about the Be Loud movement that you began. Can you kind of give us a description of it and when you started it and why you started it?
Well, the Be Loud movement kind of happened as soon as I started opening my mouth and speaking about what had happened. There is no oversight in the judicial system. The executive branch, who has jurisdiction to check the judicial branch, doesn't. The oversight committees do not get involved, and the state of South Carolina alone has an F for judicial oversight and transparency. So the only way I can save babies from abusers, because the judge, the clerk, the gal, DSS, all of them would not do it, was to create the people as the oversight. So the Be Loud movement is to place people inside the courtroom to be the court watchers. Also to help report crimes. Every couple months on my page we'll read like a constant news channel of just all the different crimes, the different judges, the different lawyers involved, everything, and they're all true statements. We have documents to back everything up, and if they don't have a document to back something up or a witness, that they get in writing, so if anybody ever asks, we have correct documentation of what's happening. And as for me, I never open my mouth unless I have documentation. So that's what the Be Loud movement is. We're reporting for all those people that are victimized that the media will not report for.
Okay. Now, have you spoken to journalists before this,
Many.
before reaching out, and you've told us that they'd never run a story, that they didn't run the story they wrote. Why do you feel these other journalists did not run their stories?
Well, every media outlet that I've called wanted the story and said it was really in-depth and meaty and it'd be great to investigate, and they all did. And as soon as they went to run it, it was pulled, or they couldn't get clearance to go further with it, or it was crazy, the obstacles and the hoops you had to jump through, and they would pull it. So I started asking why, and I went back and I would force them in a way to tell me, why wouldn't you do this? How can you look yourself in the mirror knowing? And they basically told me judges will go after them for reporting this.
Do you feel that at any point this is going to end for you?
Never. But that's why I went to law school, or at least to get a master's degree in law, because this is now going to be my career, because once you have a child, you're a mom, and your life doesn't matter anymore. It's all about the child.
Do you feel there's anywhere you can get a fair trial for you and Olivia?
No. As long as money's a driver, it's going to be a biased court.
Now, you have videos on YouTube that we've watched, and in some of them you get very excited. Some people may say that you look like an angry ex-girlfriend or a vengeful ex-girlfriend. How do you respond to that?
Well, an angry ex-girlfriend wouldn't be the one that was left, or would be the one that was left. I left him, and I called the police on him, and I fought him. So me leaving him wouldn't make me an angry ex-girlfriend. But the point is, it's not about him. It's about the people of our area, the people of our town, our community, and how many kids are being hurt. I've had one huge advocate say to me once, look to your left, look to your right. They're connected to family court violence and family court abuse in some way.
Okay. Now, you seem to have a very huge support in your local area, Bluffton and Beaufort. What do you say to these people that are thanking you for being a moving force in the parenting and family court reforms?
Well, I'm grateful, because my daughter wouldn't be as healthy and happy if it wasn't for them and their outpour. But I think what's coming to head now is people are starting to realize that if they're not part of that, they could be next, or it could be their family, or they touch it somehow, and being part of this is keeping their children safe. So it's now not about even me, it's about all of us.
Do you feel that there is a bias in family courts that could change?
A bias in family court? I don't know. I asked an FBI agent once if what they were doing was illegal, and she said absolutely. Then I had a friend of mine, an advocate, talk to an FBI agent, and he directly asked them, why don't you go after these judges? And the FBI agent said, because we'd have chaos. So basically there's no oversight for them, and nobody cares. And our kids are dying and mentally abused and growing up to be mentally ill people.
What effects does Olivia have now from the abuse that she experienced?
She's afraid of her father, and that's something I didn't even instill in her. She's afraid of him. She doesn't have any now, but for this little girl that used to hide behind doors, she's come tenfold forward, and she'll go slamming back, but she's afraid of him.
How's she doing educational-wise?
Amazing. She's at the head of her class. The teachers just cannot believe what a light she is, but she's a strong one.
Why not just move?
Well, when you're paying for her freedom every month, I really can't afford it anymore. But my son is my light too. He needs me. My son suffers from autism, and he needs both his parents. And I made a promise to his dad that I wouldn't leave him. I would never pull us apart. Jacob needs us both to survive right now.
What is your end vision for the Be Loud movement and for your case specifically?
Well, the Be Loud movement, it's like all the bad people in jail. We burned down the courthouses, like something from the 1800s. But basically, my goal is to overturn cases, is to have the appellate courts not rule on things because they're afraid of these judges, is actually one area to start standing up for what's right and turn these things around. I'm not asking for money judgments. I'm not asking for anything. I'm asking for them to do what they're supposed to do. I've only asked for the law to be followed, and that's all I'm looking for.
Okay. Is there anything you feel you want to state about your case and about the Be Loud movement that you feel is important that we haven't asked yet?
Well, it's important that the public know that there is no way for anybody to get help. They've been at this a while. Talking to attorneys and the school system, it seems like it's been going on since the 90s, this bad, and all the good people have been pushed out. So you don't have anybody in any of the commissions that will do anything. They don't even read your filings if you're pro se in most parts. So there is nothing the innocent can really do. We just need the public.